Yo, welcome back to another episode of PvT, and I got the fellas with me. This is Players versus Team. I got my boy Mel, my boy DJ Michael B. Y'all know familiar faces from the shows that y'all see throughout the week. So we here, we live. We're gonna go ahead and get it started. How y'all feeling today, fellas?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Cannot complain. I'm happy to be here. Get some stuff off my chest.
Absolutely. That's what we're here
well,
for.
to quote the great Andre 3000, feeling good, feeling great, feeling great, feeling good. How are you?
Exactly.
We love to hear it. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. But first, I'm gonna go ahead and knock out some little news that we got, that little bombshell news that hit the world today. Orenthal James Simpson, one OJ Simpson, passed away today. A lot of people like to reflect about the infamous chase or slow speed chase that took place in 1994 during the NBA Finals. But when somebody passes away that is this prominent in the sports world, I don't like to focus on the negatives, even though that's what a lot of people like to focus on. I like to focus on what they did during their football career, because that's what made them important in the first place. So with Orenthal James Simpson, one OJ Simpson, the Juice, one-time NFL MVP, 2,000-yard rusher, 6-time Pro Bowler. This is all off the top of the head. I don't have to look at any stats on like anything like that. USC legend. OG Mel, I'm gonna start with you. How you feeling?
We're definitely going to touch on this tomorrow, and I agree with you. I'm not one of those people that when someone passes, we focus on the negative parts of their life, because that's not why we know them for the most part. We know OJ for the Isotonic commercials. We know him for the 2,000 yards, being the Hall of Famer that he is for the Buffalo Bills, the USC legend that he was, the movie star he was. Like, he was a lot of things, so I don't want to overshadow. I think we've over his legacy is complicated. Definitely. And rightfully so. But I don't think this is the time to go back and look at all the negative. I think for me, OJ has always been someone I looked up to as a football player. He's one of the rare football players to transition from football into broadcasting, into mainstream media, into movies. So he was a blueprint for a lot of modern day athletes and stuff like that. And I like to focus on the good stuff with him. And, that's it for me. I mean, I'm going to touch on a lot of it tomorrow inside the huddle, but that's pretty much going to be the basis of where I go with it.
No, most definitely. DJ Michael B, how we feeling?
Well, since Mel said Inside the Huddle, make sure y'all tune in tomorrow to Inside the Huddle. Best damn football show, period, on the internet. Remember that, with both of these guys here. But OJ, see, I know everything OJ accomplished in football. I understand it. Understand football history. I know it's amazing what he did, but I'm talking from my point of growing up as a kid. OJ was a movie star for me, especially with Mr. Magoo. He made Mr. Magoo. I loved him, and then just when people forgot, because he got another trial again and he went to jail and came back out, Cameron and Mace came and signed him up, and he was really, really good at talking football on that show.
Amazing.
It was really good. That was such an underrated signing that nobody saw coming. Nobody offered it to him. Just the same way they doing Mark Jackson as well. So, man, RIP to the legend, football legend out here. 2,000 yards in the season, especially when it was less games back then, is just
amazing.
It's amazing. It's crazy.
Literally crazy. All right. Well, like my boy said, rest in peace to the Juice, OJ Simpson. Like my boy Mel said, we'll get into that a lot later tomorrow. But the reason why we are all here today is to talk about the NCAA. So we've had a repeat of champions with the men's. UConn beats Purdue in the national championship game. Don't know if you fellas got to watch it, but I tuned in a little bit. And with the questions that are around Purdue and one Zach Edey, I want to know how you guys are feeling. Do you guys think that he is a lottery pick, or do you guys think that he's going to fall out of the lottery and possibly be one of those guys that get undrafted? DJ, I'll start with you.
I think he'll be drafted. Do I think he'll be a lottery pick? Probably not. I do think he'll be a good, serviceable player on the next level. I think he has potential to get to at least maybe one All-Star, kind of like how Christian Laettner did when he had his one good season. But for the most part, he just overpowers everybody. You're not just gonna go to the NBA and overpower everybody. So his skills need a little bit more developing. His fundamentals need a little bit more developing. But I mean, there have been people who've come in and they've blossomed late. But I'm going more towards maybe how I looked at Tyler Hansborough and Adam Morrison coming out of college. Very, very good players. The game just didn't. The game is different going from the NCAA to the NBA. And there's an art to the game of the NBA. NCAA is just like, here are the rules, roll the ball out, this, and that. Go get it. The NBA, it's a little different. It's a little bit more of a art show to the NBA. But I do think he can make a little bit of noise. He gets on a good team, 6-man, maybe solid starter going in his career, but I don't think he's going to dominate the NBA like he did this tournament. I absolutely don't. So that's my take on him.
Most definitely. Mel, how we feeling?
I'm gonna go the total opposite.
Wow.
I'm gonna go total opposite. If I'm an NBA team, a 7'4", 300-pound center is what I want, because I'm looking at the landscape of the NFL. I mean, of the NBA, just like you said, how it has changed. But everybody's doing it, right? It's copycat league. So at some point, somebody's got to be first in doing something different. I'm going to go back.
That's true.
I'm going to look at all these small ball teams. I'm going to beat you up. I'm going to slow the game down. Like, what everybody, it seems like the league right now has ADHD. It's very fast. Everybody, put it up. So if you slow it down, you get them out of a rhythm. You get them out of their comfort zone. So now I can dump it into the post. He's set, like I said, 7'4", 300 pounds. You don't have nobody on your roster that can deal with that.
Not at all.
So
I'm
gonna come with the mindset of, all right, cool. When I really need to get a bucket, all you teams that got 6'9" centers, good luck. And I didn't realize Joker is only like 6'11".
Yeah.
So yeah, like, and Wemby and Chet are the only like real like skilled 7-footers, but they're not his size. They're not. I think Chet is like what, 180, 190, they said. So
if that,
I'm throwing big boy.
That's ridiculously small at center, bro. That's
very, very
crazy.
small.
Yeah, so I'm throwing big boy and I'm throwing his ass on the block, and I'm gonna change it up. For me, that's just Melvin. If I'm a GM and I'm looking at the landscape of the NBA and what can I do differently to take advantage of some of the stuff that's happening, yeah, I'm gonna do that.
My biggest worry for him is he's in the wrong era. That's my biggest worry for him, is that he's just in the wrong era, because teams just love to do this pace and space thing. Wait, because it becomes I said this on Basketball Basket, I think Monday, was like, basketball has become so much of a math equation, and I'm more worried about him not getting enough touches to dominate inside than his skill being more developed, because I think he could definitely develop and dominate inside. It's just the math equation game here.
That's why I said I slow it down. I walk it up. I take it back to the late 90s, early 2000s. We're gonna walk it. When we got the rock, we're gonna walk it up the court.
You gotta have a team that's willing to do it.
And didn't they say they was done with the 90s? Some
Mhm.
shit like that. Oh my
Big
god.
facts.
Oh,
Let's
okay.
not do that.
But interesting, interesting perspective, fellas. But I wanted to ask you guys a question because looking at these top 5 prospects that a lot of these guys have mocked up right now, there are no guys from the U.S. that are,
Nope.
are currently top 5.
Nope.
So I want to ask you guys a question. Do you guys think that the development of the European guys is kind of stalling the outlook or the exposure that guys are getting from the States? Because you see a lot of these guys, right? Like the Wimbies, the Chets that are coming from a G League, right? The Nikola Jokic's, all these guys are coming from overseas, right? And to where a lot of the guys that are staying in the States are starting to fall into later rounds. You think that it's affecting the league or affecting these guys' development in some way, shape, or form? Or do you guys think that the States need to catch up?
I'm gonna say this, and I don't expect people to agree or not agree. I mean, or disagree. I mean, this is just my opinion. American-born basketball players are horrible basketball. They're not basketball players anymore. They're just athletes that play basketball. There's a they're athletic and they're skilled, but they don't know how to play the game of basketball, and that's the biggest problem. When you watch how they try to defend the pick and roll, when you watch, they don't even know how to box out on a fucking rebound. Like there's a lot of things that they just don't know how to do because they all focus on I'm gonna dribble around a cone, I'm gonna shoot 80-foot jump shots, I'm gonna do all of these things, but they don't know how to play the game. Like when you watch, like we'll take, I'll go back to the women's national championship game, and everybody made a big deal about the offensive foul and the screen that was set. It was a foul. It's an offensive foul. Once you set your feet, you can't move.
Can't
But
move.
it was the guard who messed it up. The guard is supposed to hug that so that the defender goes into the screener. When the guard flared out as wide as she did, you're forcing the person to who's setting the screen. They now have to take another step out so that they can screen that. That's just fundamental shit. And when you watching these games, there's a lot of those little things that they just miss. It's just miss. It's like when you watch Steph Curry, when he comes off a screen, how he reads a screen, a lot of people don't know how to do that. Because if you go underneath it and try to beat him to the other side, he pops back out on the other side. If you trail him, he hugs it and gets to his spot. But this is how you have to move on ball. This is understanding basketball. You know what I mean? So, and I don't. A lot of these kids don't. They play in these AAU tournaments, and all they care about is how many points you score, and they don't focus on look team basketball. Can you actually play a 2-3 zone? Can you play a one? A 1-3-1? Can you do these things? I don't. And my brother coaches in California. He has the biggest problem with this because their IQs on basketball. Not saying they're not skilled. I'm not saying they're not athletic. They're all of those things. But you still got to know how to play the game as well.
That's a good point, DJ.
I know a couple of people will, Moo especially was looking at my facial expressions and laughing. And Moo's probably expecting me to come on here and disagree with everything you said. But OG Mel is absolutely right. Absolutely right. I said it maybe a couple of weeks on Basket. Maybe you remember this. If you go back and watch the Kobe Bryant interview, was it with JJ or I think it was All the Smoke. They asked him on the current state of basketball.
Mm-hmm.
Kobe straight up said the kids today have the biggest problem in scoring and playing basketball because they play accidental offense.
Right.
There's no system to get you easy buckets. There's no system you have to follow to get an IQ for the game to know how to counter stuff. None of that does not exist. And with social media, everything is for the highlight reel. Everything is for the highlight reel. Like Mel made a good point. People see Steph Curry taking these long shots and things like that. Yes, He can make those. Everybody's not Steph Curry, and I wish everybody would stop trying to act like it. Steph Curry's once in a freaking lifetime.
You're not Steph.
But when you see Steph's off-ball movement, you could tell because his dad was not a take the ball and go score. His dad taught him how to move without the ball, and his hunger just for basketball, want to be able to create his own shot, is why he is as good as he is now. Because he understands the skill part, he also has the IQ part. And Mel is absolutely right. The European players and the overseas play, I'm not gonna lie to you, I consider Canadian players American players.
Yeah,
and because it's the same hemisphere and it's the same type of basketball.
They play the same basketball.
They play the exact same basketball. And the Canadians come in AAU and travel to New York or wherever and play against American players all the time. And
True.
Just this past Monday, I was saying one of the things that is missing with I was talking to Troy, and I was like, JJ Redick and LeBron made a really good point when they said people focus, coaches nowadays, especially a lot of AAU coaches who never made it, focus on why they didn't make it and try to instill that in their star player. Meanwhile, they're squandering the IQs of everybody else on the team because you're not teaching them how to play the game. You're teaching them how to play one-on-one. Hence why there's so many good one-on-one players in the NBA, but not a lick of these fools could shoot off the damn ball.
You know what's funny? This goes back to what is one of my favorite guns. I'm about to talk about right now. So they've said that Carmelo Anthony was a dinosaur, and you can't play one-on-one basketball anymore. But that's all they play in the NBA. That's all they've been playing in the NBA for the past several years. So that's why I was like, it didn't make sense on why Carmelo Anthony was getting all the heat for being a one-on-one player when everybody who's doing these high pick and rolls and just hunting matchups, that's all you're doing. The only difference is Melo didn't have to hunt a mismatch. He just took whoever was on him and went to work.
But that's what they call for nowadays anyway. Like, you see a lot of kids, like you hear LeBron James, you hear JJ Redick, you hear like Draymond Green, you hear a lot of these guys when they talk about the young guys coming into the league, right? When people know, like, they call for, especially LeBron, like they know, like they call for a double, right? Or they're calling for a double, or they're signaling somebody, hey, like we're gonna double this guy, and the dude who's dribbling the ball, like, hey, like, man, go one-on-one, play me one-on-one. It's like, nigga, no, nigga, you got 30, bro. Like, I'm not finna, nigga, let you cook for 45 today. Like, nigga, you already have 37. Like, that's not what's gonna happen. You're playing one-on-one for 3 quarters. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I definitely understand that. But I want to ask you guys a question to follow up on that. Looking at the for the top 10, right? You see that there's only 2 guys that actually went to college that are off the board in the top 10, but the rest are either overseas and or 3 guys that are coming off the board for that went to college. But the rest of the guys are either overseas and or G League guys. Do you guys think that guys should start to forfeit college in order to go to the G League or go overseas to focus more on basketball, to train more on their skills? Or do you guys think that college is essential in some way, shape, or form to learn certain aspects of the game before going to the NBA? Mel, let's start with you.
I am a pro college person. I don't think you learn how to play basketball in the G League. I think you learn that winning is important, but you don't learn how to play the game. I forgot who I was watching. I think it was Kenyon Martin. And I think he said, like, you learn how to play defense in college. Like, that's where it comes from. Like, you learn how to play defense in college because you got to play different type of matchup zones. You got to play man up. You got to play zones. You have to do a lot of these different things. So it helps your IQ on the basketball court. Now, you don't run a lot of these things when you get to the pros, but your body is tuned to start playing defense, to understand when movement happens, where you need to be. When, if there's a back cut, do y'all switch it? Do you call it out? Like, if there's a screen coming, like all of these different things that they don't do in the NBA. This is why you can have a game 176 to 174.
That's true. A lot of people still bring up that score.
Because the defense, like the intensity, like when you in college and you in the Big Ten, the Big East tournament, and then you got to get ready for March Madness, that all comes down to defense. It really does. Like, I get all of the offense that happens and all that stuff, but it's all about who can make stops when you need to make stops. Because those scores, they're not 130 to those scores be 97 to 86. Like, those, they be tight games. So you have to rely on defense and making timely buckets. And college, if more guys went to college, the mid-range game will come back because you have to make mid-range shots in college. So that's me. I'm a pro college guy.
DJ?
Boy, let me tell y'all something. Mel, I'm gonna need you to do one thing for me today. All right, just one. You're gonna have to stop taking my points, bro, because that's exactly what I was gonna say. Especially
we're
on
gonna
the
get spicy when we
defensive
get to the
side.
women. Don't worry about it. We're gonna get spicy.
I'm just saying because it's absolutely true. College basketball, especially in the tournament and the conference championships, it's literally coming down to two things: execution of your game plan and defense. Can you stop somebody? The games are too close. When it's time to execute a game plan, execute a play, can you do it? We see in the NBA a lot of times teams are just down by 2. All right, coach might draw up a play. He might not. Most of the time, just give it to your best player, ISO, move out the way. We all know it's coming, especially in today's NBA. Dribble, 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 dribble. Step in, step back, shoot a 3. If I make it, I win. If I miss, we lose. We live to play another day.
Yep.
Because it's not a one-game elimination. That's not happening in college. That's definitely not happening in college.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one of the reasons why I prefer the college game now, especially why I like how Villanova always builds up their program 2 years in. And then when that third year comes, it's like, hey, here we go again. We're right here in the Sweet 16, Elite 8, Final 4 championship, especially when Jalen Brunson was there. That's what they did. They build their teams up. The one and done is straight NBA style type of basketball. It literally is. It's like, all right, I shine. I'm going to the NBA. When I get there, I get mine. You get yours.
Question: how many championships did Kentucky win?
That's a real good fucking point.
And overall,
while Calipari was there,
that's a real good point, bro. I'm looking for one.
I'm trying to find one. I ain't gonna lie to you because I got Villanova, UConn. I got Louisville.
They won one with was Calipari. They won. Was it Anthony Davis?
I'm gonna look. I'm gonna pull it up right now.
I think that's the only one. I think that's the only one they won when Anthony Davis was there. I swear.
2012.
Yep, with Anthony Davis. That's it. And he had
how many players? How many players he got in the NBA?
A good bit, because the last year for the All-Star game, I think they said it was like 27% of the players in the All-Star game was Calipari players.
And we can 100% agree that they had a pretty talented team this year as well. But it didn't amount to nothing because they don't play basketball. They're just a bunch of really good kids that are athletic, that can do a lot of good things or great things, but they don't work as a cohesive team.
That is absolutely true.
And you can't build cohesion in 30 games. It doesn't work. Not what you have to have a good mix of young guys and veterans. You can't do that if you're turning over more than 50% of your team every single season. You'll win games 100%. No,
you definitely will.
You'll win games. But come tournament time, you're gonna get smoked.
I'm actually happy they did the NIL thing because maybe it'll start keeping more players in college before they go to the NBA, and hopefully it puts more veterans on teams. But I mean, speaking of Calipari, he's moving now, so let's see if that onus still follows him as he goes. Because as of right now, I'm convinced he may have pioneered the one and done era, but he hasn't done anything with it other than put people in the NBA.
Yeah.
And speaking of the NBA, how many of them in the NBA have won championships too? That's another thing.
How many of those teams that really leaned into the one and done mentality have won championships or been?
Good point.
Like it's the teams. Like it's the UConns, it's the Purdue's, it's the fucking Michigan States. Like dudes
Love
who
Michigan
just
State.
look, we're gonna grind this out. I got juniors and seniors on this team. I got dudes who've been here 5 years. Like that's what happens. Like you have to have a good mix. Like, does it help to have 2 of the top 10 players in the country on your squad? Yes, 100%.
True.
But it also takes a guy who's been there for 3-4 years to implement, because those guys become extra coaches for the coaching staff. And my biggest thing that I hate the most about basketball today, and this is college and then pro, there is a place for just a role player. Everybody doesn't have to be a superstar. They don't. Some
Cloud
guys,
chasing.
yeah, there's some guys that all they can do is play defense and grab rebounds. That there should be a space for him on your team.
Yep.
The same way that you value the dude that can't play defense and can shoot threes, you need to value the dude who can grab rebounds and play defense.
You make a good point, because you said, hey, in 30 games you can't develop chemistry. The only thing in developing in 30 games is really maybe a 1-2 combo and they just have to mesh. But people, there's a word that I learned growing up playing and watching my coach at the school coach. It's called synergy, and I don't think a lot of people understand what synergy is.
Mm-hmm.
Synergy is when all of the components click on all levels, and your total product outweighs the amount of potential within that product.
Right.
That's what synergy is. And every year, the college championship winner is the team with the most synergy.
Yep.
Exactly. I can rely on you to do this. I can rely on you to do this. I can rely on you to do this and this. Everybody understands their role. If you're supposed to be the star, nobody's going to stop you from being the star. If you're the defensive stopper, go out there and get your defensive stops. You're the rebounder, be the best damn rebounder on the court. There's a place for that, for all of those spots in the NBA. But the clout, the clout of social media now has clouded a lot of these young guys' minds. And they're like, well, if I got social media and everybody's focused so much on their brand, if I got a brand, I could always sell, which is, I mean, I'm not against it, but if you're not playing to win the damn championship, what are you playing for?
Then why are you there?
Honestly, all valid points. Before we move on to the other side with the women's, I want to ask you guys a question. What's one thing or do you think that the NBA basically linking up with Wemby in the NBA Europe is kind of a way to kind of bring back competition? Because when you look back at it, right, you always had the best competition going at it, right, in the tournament, right? Like you knew the guys that were going to the Louisvilles and that was going to the Floridas, that were going to the UConns, that were going to the Kentuckys, that were going to the Dukes. And at the end of the day, yeah, they had their respective regular season, but y'all knew when March Madness came, all of these guys, top talent, is going to come and meet at the top at some point in time, right? And with this year, you really don't see a lot of the names because a lot of the big names are overseas playing European ball, right? So my question to you guys is, do you think the NBA and the NCAA needs to do something to kind of bring back that competitive nature with the men's NCAA side of the tournament? Because we see the numbers went down from years prior. We see all the best talent is coming from overseas. Like, what can they do to start drawing kids back over, or to retain kids to go to college to more excite the product, I guess? Mel, I'll start with you.
Make their ass stay in school.
That one and done rule out of there?
Get rid of it. It's not helping. It's not helping the NBA, and it's not helping college basketball. So if it's not helping neither one, you got to go back to the old formula, because the old formula worked. The reason why we got so entrenched in women's basketball is because we knew who all the players were. We knew we knew who Caitlyn Clark was. We know about Cardozo. We know about South Carolina. We know Paige Beckers in UConn. You know what I'm saying? We knew about Juju, even though she's a freshman. She's probably a more popular freshman than any of the men
Yeah, at this point.
And the reason, because we had buildup. Caitlyn beat South Carolina last year in the Final Four.
Mm-hmm.
She lost to LSU. So there's beef going through there.
Yep.
What made the men's game so dope in past years? It was beef.
Yep.
Those Big East, like UConn, Villanova, Georgetown, North Carolina, like there were legit rivalries. We don't have those no more. We don't even. It don't even. You don't even feel it. Like when they used to have the ACC Big Ten matchup, that was a big thing.
That was a big deal.
It's not a big thing anymore. Why? We don't even know who the fuck's playing in it. When think about the UConn teams, when you had, Kimball Walker and all of these dudes on those teams, and Rip and all that, like those teams were stacked. The North
Yep.
Carolina teams with Raymond Felton and all of it, like they were stacked. These schools were stacked. And every school had 2 to 3 dudes.
Yep. 2 to 3 stars.
And it didn't matter. It could have been Cincinnati. They had 2, 3 dudes.
Mm-hmm. Small schools, big schools, Syracuse, Rutgers, all of these schools, all of these guys together.
All of those schools was breeding NBA basketball players. Fucking Dwayne Wade went to Marquette.
Yep. Marquette.
You know what I mean? Like, we forget that Georgia Tech used to roll out a lot of good basketball players.
Yeah.
That we don't see that no more.
UCLA, shit. Russell Westbrook, Kevin Love, shit.
Like, a lot of these schools used to crank out a lot of really good and we knew who they were. So when the tournament happened, you knew who you wanted to watch. Mm-hmm. You wanted to see those lottery picks go up against each other in the tournament. Because usually that's what dictated who was going in the top 4 or 5 picks.
That's true. This is true too. Shoot, but even on the West Coast, shit.
What's up, Carlos?
At USC, shit, you had just a whole bunch of guys, right? Like a lot of the guys that, and that's kind of what we're saying. Like a lot of the guys that like didn't pop up on the radar and or weren't like going to the big name schools. Like you still knew who they were following through high school or following, and you didn't have social media back in the day, so where there was no Ballers Life and following these guys all throughout fucking AAU and shit like that. Like you had to really go out there and do your research. So like when you found these guys and when these guys were on the West Coast, like I'm saying, like the UCLAs, the USCs, the Washingtons, the Gonzagas, right? Like all of these guys that are on these West Coast teams, but they don't necessarily get all of the exposure that the East Coast teams get because a lot of those East Coast guys were dogs too. And it's like when those guys meet up, it's big, it's momentum, it's sparks, it's fireworks, and it's like now you don't get that because now everybody's like, who the fuck is these guys? Like we don't know.
Like think about it. Wasn't it Jameer Nelson and Delonte West that went nuts in the tournament?
Went nuts.
Like
it's a big factor right here, Carlos.
And I hate the transfer program. I hate it. 100%. I hate it. I think you commit to a school, you commit to a school. And I hate the argument, oh, well, the coaches get to do it. Shut up. Shut up. My boss can leave my job right now, go to another job. That don't mean I can fucking go do it too.
Coaches get fired, though. Like a lot of the times that people don't understand, like the logistics in the background, the coaches get fired. Or they've been talking to this team for the longest time. It wasn't just something that happened at the spur of the moment.
So I'm on the side of we go back to you can only graduate. I mean, you can only go pro 3 years removed from your high school graduating class.
DJ?
Interesting. I'm not doing that. No, we're not doing that. But I am on the side of making these dudes stay in college longer. I am. I said from the get-go, once they said, hey, we take away you coming straight out of high school and going straight into the draft and going to college at least 1 year and then being done and going to the draft, I was against that too. My proposal pretty much was if they want to go to the NBA out of high school, be my guest and go. But if you choose to go to college, You are there for at least 2 years. You can't leave and go pro until you've completed at least until you completed 2 years of college.
Mm.
That was my setup, because while I do, everybody will say, well, they should have the choice to go make money for their family.
What up, man?
You have a choice to go make money for your family. So, especially now, there's a lot more leagues. So, if you don't want to go to college, go to the G League.
But
You
then
might
I
not
guess
make it.
I just want to piggyback on something that you just said. Now that you rock out, I hate that they should go make money for their family, because this is what because then this is how my brain processes. If you're going to college and you're getting your degree, you're going to do that.
That's my
But
stance on it too.
if you are a one and done, and then you go and you jump to the league, the chance of you going back to school, slim to none. And the chances of you staying in the NBA are even worse.
Right.
Mm.
So my other proposal about it was, I don't like preferential treatment for athletes, but my other on the flip side of what I was saying was, you got to stay in school at least 2 years. The flip side about it also is universities need to start giving out associate's degrees again, and not just bachelor's degrees. They should start giving out associate's degrees again, because if you stay in school for 2 years, you can graduate your associate's degree. At least you could. I'm not saying, look, it's not perfect. You know what I'm saying? But at least it's like, hey, if you come here and you don't make it pro, we at least try to set you up with something.
So would you accept it if they said it doesn't even have to be 2 years? You can enter the NBA draft if you get your associate's degree.
Oh, I'd be okay with that. I'd definitely be okay with that.
Okay.
Kind of like the rules they have for the ladies on the other
Because
side.
some people will take more hours than others. And yeah, some people will take more hours than others. So yeah, I'd even be okay with that.
And I think this point is different, right? If you're like one in 100, 1 in a million guys, right, that has just that kind of talent, then obviously, right, you can weigh your options. But
we've seen those guys.
Yeah,
Greg Oden. What happened to Greg Oden?
For most guys, we're talking about.
We talk a lot about the guys who made it and not enough about the ones who didn't.
Right.
And if they knew the number of the ones that didn't make it, I think some of their decisions would start to change. If you looked at all of the guys that were one and dones that went in the lottery or got drafted that didn't even make it out of training camp, let alone get cut from an active roster, I think they would be like, you know what? Maybe my ass will stay in college for a couple years.
I think just staying in college helps you develop a little better, not only mentally but just physically, right? Like you get to
because you got to learn to be a grown man,
a
grown woman.
Right. You get to learn the world a little bit more. You get to learn, how to come into yourself as a man or as a woman. Your body's just a little bit more, developed as an adult, where you can take a little bit more contact, take a little bit more damage. And it's just better, right? It takes a lot of the stress off of guys or coaches in the league, to where you come in to where you should be, or come into where you need to be, and not come into where they, where people projected you to be, right? Because you can be projected to be here, but they needed you to be here when you come in. So it's just different, right? So staying in college, I think there's a benefit, but for me, it was just a competitive factor, right? Like I wanted to see like these guys that, go at it again, to where the numbers are back where they were, and we get that competitive nature, we get that competitive fire, and we're starting to see who these guys are coming out of not only just high school and AAUs and stuff like that, but coming out of college. Like we're actually focused on college basketball.
To your point, to everybody's point that's talking right now, saying college, you should have to stay in college longer. One of the biggest rivalries hasn't even been a good rivalry for the past 6-7 years, which is Duke and UNC. It sucked because they don't know about the rivalry.
They haven't been there long enough for it.
Right. It's not a rivalry. It's just a game. And Coach K was there so long. He's like, I just want to beat UNC, and I need y'all to be on the damn thing, be on the page with me. They don't know what's going on. They have no idea.
Like there's no there is like you said, like there's like I said, there's supposed to be beef with these schools, man.
Right.
Like when you choose to go to Duke, you know you don't fuck with no. Okay, it's like football.
Yeah.
When they ask a kid who's going to Michigan or who's going to Ohio State, what's your main goal? Beat Michigan or beat Ohio State? That's it. That's all they care about.
That's it.
That's it. These kids in basketball, they don't have that. If you're a North Carolina kid, Duke is nemesis number one. Like that is arch enemy number one. And then vice versa if you're a Duke.
And you know that brings up another good point with basketball. The players aren't staying there long enough to dive into having a favorite player in college and following that player and seeing, hey, he beat up on my guy whenever he was here. So now it's time for me to take it to this school because I know it. I was not a Duke guy, but I was a big Grant Hill guy, and I freaking hated UNC because they used to beat up on Grant Hill and Christian Laettner. Oh my God, I hated them.
And this comment right, that one that you just pulled down with this one. Yep, that one. I believe in that one very much in the sense of, and this is why I said the draft, the way that they make money should change. And if they change their pay scale, it'll keep kids in college. I don't believe you should pay rookies $50-some-odd million coming straight out. I think that should go to the guys who are ending their rookie contract and have ascended to being all-star to all-NBA players. Like, I think you should pay the veterans that type of money. The rookies coming in, yo, here, you make $5 million or whatever it is. Like, nothing, just enough that if you are getting this NIL, if you are getting the NIL money, it ain't going to be it's going to be just as good as the shit that you're going to get in the NBA. It's going to be the exact same shit. So you might as well just stay in college. Until, like you said, if it's the 2 years or whatever it may be. Because if I know I'm going to beat a lottery pick, and what are lottery picks making? Something like $40 million?
Crazy.
That's
enough money.
Crazy.
Enough money to be generational wealth.
Yep.
But then, as an owner, if that kid doesn't pan out, but then let's take it back to the original topic and where we were talking about the American-born players trying to get into the NBA. If the goal is for you to make money, if the American players aren't even top 12 picks in the league anymore, then we need to do something.
That's a good point.
Because if the goal, because remember, that was the dream. Either you had a wicked jump shot or you slung crack rock. Like that was how that's how you got out the hood. Yeah. Now the European dudes are taking those spots.
Ooh, I like that, man, New Yorker. I like that point right there.
Yeah. Yep. And
this man Mel cooking, bro. I don't even want to say nothing. Mel cooking. Keep cooking,
so
Mel.
It's like, so now is it in your bet? Because at this point in time, to keep it a beam, the best way for you to make money for your family is in college.
Stay in college because them NIL deals gonna be popping.
Exactly.
Hence why I thought more of the girls like Angel Reese was going to stay in college instead of declaring for the WNBA draft because they're making hella killer money in the NIL deals more than what they would as a rookie in the WNBA.
But this is my thing. What's about to happen with the WNBA is going to be dope. And this comes from, I watch WNBA games. I go to WNBA games. Unlike a lot of you goofies out here with opinions on the WNBA.
Talk to him, Mel.
When y'all don't even attend these games.
Talk to him.
What's about to happen is going to be dope. What Caitlyn Clark, Angel Reese, Cardozo, fucking all of these girls coming in, they're going to set the stage.
Oh, yeah.
And then after that, you got Hidalgo, you got Juju, you got Paige, you got another group, you got a whole crop of these girls. The WNBA is going to be legit in about 6 to 7 years. the money that they're making now is gonna look goofy because in another 6-7 years, they're
That's a
gonna
good
be
point,
making.
Ron.
There'll be girls making on. There'll be girls with $1 million contracts in the WNBA.
Oh no, most definitely. I think that's definitely
Hey,
coming.
Carlos, you might be right. NIL deals are bloated, but you also got to remember the NIL deals are coming from the community they're in, and using these girls or these guys are boosting the
Right.
community.
Mhm.
So I don't necessarily think they're bloated. I just think they're superstars in college and they want to use name, image, likeness.
Yeah, and a lot of them are brand deals, right? Like a lot of them
Right.
are
It's all
major
brand deals.
using,
It's
right?
all
It's,
brand
it's basically teaching them how to be or how to conduct and how to work with brands while they're in college and
Right. It's teaching them
It's-
networking and things like that.
yeah,
You're basically getting your endorsement deals early.
exactly. So that's basically what which is a dope thing because it's giving them an opportunity to make a lot of money, right? And not the whole feed your family thing. Feed yourself. Shit, college is fucking hard. You go broke in fucking college, and it's hard enough feeding yourself. And people talking about feeding your family
I'm
and all
happy.
their moms and bro, mom's gotta take care of herself.
I'm happy he brought that up because we're going back to a regular show in 2 weeks on Gentleman's Talk. And I'm telling you, Moo or Mel, I hope y'all can pop in for this one. We are going to definitely talk about players in the past that would have killed NIL deals. Which players you think would have had the biggest deals, whether it's football or basketball. So it's going to be a good one.
Look,
It'll be a good one.
I think with Zach Edey and him not being able to capitalize on his NIL, I think that's more not necessarily the NIL deal's fault. That's more just shit where he is, like where he was born at, honestly. And
it's a technicality. That's all.
It's an unfortunate technicality, but like at some point in time, like his parents should have known to take. And I'm not saying it's his fault anyway.
He should establish residency in the States.
Parents should have known to establish some type of residency, some type of dual citizenship, so that he can capitalize on NIL deals. But I also understand that a lot of this did start while he was still
in
college. There is that. But that's a good transition to the women's side because I actually wanted to talk about them a little bit as well. South Carolina, going back to win the national championship again. Last year they came up a little bit short to Iowa, but this year they got their revenge. Don Staley wins another one. How we feeling about that?
I guess I'll start this one off. I think I said this last night, so I'll say it again. I'm gonna take a knock on the door. Right? Don Staley is about to kick open this damn door into the GOAT debate of women's college basketball coaches. She is. And I say that really. She's not Gina Auriemma. I understand that. She might not be Pat Summitt, but she will definitely be in the top 5 conversation.
She's in the top 5 now.
Right. That's what I'm saying. And I'm saying when I say, hey, she's trying to kick that door down on the GOAT talk, she is. And the product that South Carolina is putting out, this is a perfect example right here of why you should stay in college. And her teams are developed. Like she didn't win back-to-back and things like that. It's spaced out. What is it? 17, 22, and now 24. And both of those teams interconnect with who started as rookie and who's ended up as veterans now. In between, like, that's what it is. This is why yes, I understand Pat Summitt been in school 10 years plus. Don Staley's been in South Carolina in what, 7 years now? 8 years?
Yeah. Gino had a run.
We know. Gino had a John Wooden run. We know.
Yeah. There were players that played for Gino that won national championships every year they were in school.
Yeah, Gino is that guy.
Gino has superstars out there in the WNBA. Like it's ridiculous. But I'm not saying for the guy in whoever it was, I'm not saying Don Staley is a GOAT, but she's trying to kick down the door and make sure her name is cemented for good. Because I'm just saying 3 championships in your first 8 years, especially when they're one and done games, that's pretty freaking ridiculous, bro. and you're not that far. You're not that far behind. So, shout out to Don Staley. I love it. I absolutely love it, John. And for those of you that don't know who Don Staley is, you need to go back and watch some WNBA games. Plain and simple.
Yeah, and I said, like I said, I watch women's basketball. I've been watching women's basketball since it really became a thing with the WNBA and college basketball. I watched Dawn Staley in college, and I said this because I had this argument about what's the chick that coaches the Aces?
Shit.
Coach of the Aces right now.
Yeah.
Oh
my God.
What's her name? The point guard. She used to play. Was Becky Hammond.
Becky Hammond. Yes. And she
When
trained next to
when everybody was talking about could she coach in the NBA and all that other bullshit, and I said no. There's only one female that I would coach, that I would let coach my NBA basketball team. One. It is Dawn Staley. One. Her resume, her understanding of basketball, all of the things that she does, that is the only woman that is, I would give any credit to sitting on the sideline in the NBA and coaching the NBA basketball team.
But the NBA players speak for themselves. You hear these guys that played in the 2000s all the time. You ask any of them, yo, who was your favorite WNBA player? 95% of them are going to say Dawn Staley was their favorite WNBA player because she knew. She had the IQ. She had the game for it.
Yeah. Like she's that good of a coach. She is that good of a basketball mind that I would let her do that. And her resume speaks for itself. It speaks for itself. As far as the game itself goes, the problem I have with everybody with what's going on with Caitlyn Clark is ridiculous to me. Absolutely ridiculous. Listen, no, you can have a great player, which Caitlyn Clark is. She was never going to beat a great team.
No, most definitely not.
That's not how that works. South Carolina was 10-11 deep. And if y'all watch these damn games,
Mulish called it in the chat too. I give props to Mulish for that one. He called it.
Yeah, she could have went. The only way Iowa was going to do is what the others was going to have to show their ass, and they just didn't. They missed. They missed wide open shots. They turned the ball over uncharacteristically in this game. It was a bad time for them to have a bad game against that team.
Against that team, yep. I said it that exact same thing.
And for people saying that Caitlyn Clark is gonna she's not gonna be good in the WNBA and she shouldn't be the first pick in the draft, and y'all are stupid.
Very.
Y'all are stupid. Okay.
Very.
It's one thing to have a player go off for 40 in a college tournament game. It's another thing to have somebody go for 15 assists in a playoff game. It's fucking ignorant for that person to have 40 points and 15 assists.
15 assists. That's
and 6 or 7 rebounds to go along with it. It's ridiculous.
It's ignorant. Is she going to average 30 points in the NBA when she first get there? No. I think she's going to be somewhere around 22, 25, and 6 to 8 assists. But year 3, grab your popcorn.
The same thing, man, New Yorker.
Grab your popcorn.
Well, I mean, and let's talk about the draft for a second, right? Because this draft has the potential to be really, really dicing with all of the names that are going in this draft, right? So just based off the top, right? Who do you guys have going top 5? DJ, I'm gonna start with you on this one.
What draft? NBA or WNBA? WNBA.
He's definitely talking WNBA.
Okay.
I need a list pulled up in front of me because I gotta. Whew. Let me see here. Here we go. Obviously, let's take the obvious out. Caitlyn Clark is going number 1. Easy. So Caitlyn Clark is going number 1. So I got 4 more. I'm probably Cameron Brink entered, I think she could benefit from staying another year in college, but I think she's going to go. And if she goes, she's probably going to go top 5. Her skill level is off the charts. So I just think she should probably stay and get a more WNBA type body before she goes. But hey, teach their own. Camila Cardoso. I think Camila Cardoso is gonna absolutely come in and be a very, very, very good player from the get-go.
Yep.
She's so crazy and dominant. I think, and I tell people, listen, I don't, no disrespect to Angel Reese, but Camila Cardoso is who Angel Reese thinks she is, bro.
Thank
you.
Camila Cardoso is
she was always the better of. She was always the better of the two.
Yes, 100%.
I think somebody in the top 5 will probably get desperate and draft Angel Reese in the top 5. Probably at number 5. What's the girl name from UConn? The forward.
Leah Edwards.
Right. Yeah.
Oh.
Edwards. I think she's a very good player too. I don't know if she'll be superstardom in the league, but she would definitely matter on the team and probably a championship team too. She just knows how to play basketball. I like people that know how to play basketball. Mm-hmm. She understands it, and she's very good at what she does.
Yep.
Is that 4 or 5? Did I give you 5 or 4?
That's 4.
And this one is a little personal to me. You know, she probably won't go top 5, but I mean, I'm an OSU fan, so I gotta throw JC Sheldon in there. I definitely do, just because I'm an OSU fan. Point guard, shooting guard. She's just a guard. She's a guard. Very good player, very solid player. Won't be a star in the WNBA, but she will be a good starting point guard or a good 6 woman. I don't want nobody to get their feelings on here. Or a very good 6 woman off the bench.
God damn it.
6 man. a very good 6 man for a WNBA team. So that's a little homer in me, but hey, whatever.
That's the biggest part. When play defense and they actually can shoot. Go ahead, Mel.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's a no-brainer that Caitlyn goes to Indiana. That's the easiest of the top 5 picks. At 2, either way, the Sparks got the 2nd and the 4th pick.
That's true.
So they're going to take Brinks and Cardozo.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's
crazy.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
We gonna take the best rebounder and the best defender in college right now.
Sparks, yeah, because the Sparks are going to do that. I feel like they will. You got Chicago's Rakia Jackson from Tennessee. At 5, your girl Aaliyah Edwards. But at 6, if Angel Reese falls past the Mystics, she's fucked up. Because she's from the area. She's from the area. That would make the most sense. So I've got Angel Reese going to the Mystics at 6.
To be fair to your list, I do really have Rakia Jackson going in the top 5, but I'm just an OSU fan, so I had to throw JC in there one time for the one time. But yeah, Rakia will definitely go in the top 5, and it's not. Yeah.
What about Chicago?
In the mock draft that I looked at, they got JC going to the Mystics.
Mm-hmm. What about Chicago? Because they're in an interesting spot too. Just like the Sparks, they got 2 picks, and they got the 3rd and the 8th pick. So they can possibly end up with top 3, whether that be Brink, whether that be Cardozo, whether that be Rakia, and possibly Alyssa Peely and or Daisha Fair, who was a top scorer in the nation.
Actually, being realistic, I would not be surprised if Rakia Jackson and then JC Sheldon both go to Chicago. It would not surprise me at all.
I can see that.
That would be crazy.
That would actually That actually probably would be the best fit.
Mm-hmm.
If JC and Rakia end up in Chicago, Angel ends up in Washington. That can work. I like that.
Yep.
I like that.
Yeah, that'd be really interesting. Now, with all the talent that's coming out of the WNBA right now, we know obviously not every single woman is going to get drafted, but we know with the offer that Ice Cube has made to Caitlyn Clark, do you think that he is going to start to extend that to more women to try to come up with his own league of some sort? Or do you think that he's going to have these women play alongside, integrated with the men, and see how that goes for a while until he kind of decides that he's going to want to venture out and break off to do something else? But do you think that we're going to see some women in the big three, not named Caitlyn Clark? Mel, I'll start with you.
Yes, I think because there's intrigue in that. There's intrigue, and I'm cynical, so I want it for all the bad reasons.
I love it. I absolutely love it.
Like I want it for all the bad reasons because there's too much of the women can play with the men or the women can fight with the men and all that bullshit. So I was like, all right, cool. So it don't gotta be at its peak. It can be in the big three. Just so you can get a taste of, I can't play with these motherfuckers. Like, I'm here for it.
I'm not gonna lie. What was the biggest thing I said on Basket on Monday? I need people to realize that the WNBA plays with a smaller ball.
Yeah.
And that makes one hell of a difference. But
no, I mean, so I don't think it's that big because when they play ball with, in regular gyms and shit, they use NBA size basketball. So I don't think that's going to be too much. Yeah, when you play pickup ball, you're pretty much using NBA basketball.
Well, I haven't seen enough NCAA women's players shoot a men's basketball. I haven't seen enough of it. So maybe you played sports in college, so maybe you're right. I haven't seen enough of it. But on the flip side of this, I could see more NCAA women's players being intrigued by the big three. And we said on Monday, maybe he opens up something separate for players that don't get drafted and for legends that want to do it, and they open up something for the women's. And then somewhere in the college, in the summertime, just for the hell of it, open hey, we're gonna do an integrated league where it's like, hey, you got to have a female on the court at all times.
I said
that's interesting.
I said for All-Star Weekend, them motherfuckers need to get the All-NBA, All-NBA WNBA team against the NBA All-Star team, and just let them rock out, just so we can look. This is your time to shine. Do it.
Mel. Let me tell you. Let me tell you, bro. I fuck with it. I fuck with that idea because for all the bad reasons like you. But let's for people out there, let me put this into perspective. Our high school varsity girls team, when I was in high school, went all the way to state tournament and lost in the last 8. The freaking 9th grade 18 boys scrimmaged them the week before and blew them out by 50 in 8-minute quarters with the girls basketball.
Look,
bruh.
Look, I just want it because I'm here for the chaos. That's all. I'm just here for the chaos.
I share the same sentiments, right? I think when ultimately, right, like when it comes to skill, like you're gonna find. I'm not gonna sit up here and say that there's a woman that's on the same skill as Steph Curry or LeBron James or something like that. But I think you're gonna find a highly skilled woman that is a basketball player. It's just when it comes to body type, when it comes to banging, when it comes to the contact, because we have to understand that the NBA, that basketball is a contact sport. It's different from the NFL and football, which is a collision sport. We have to understand that. The contact that these men go through on a daily basis compared to the women, and trust me, I watch both games. The contact is nowhere near as ferocious that it can be on the men's side. It is for women. So We're not sitting here saying that these women aren't skilled and that they can't play the game of basketball, because there are a lot of skilled women out there that will ball up a lot of these men. But when it comes to playing, right, when it comes to, say, an Asia Wilson trying to post up a Wemby, even though Wemby's of smaller stature, it's not going to work. It's just not
the perfect example of this. Literally, you want to see the difference between men's sports and women's sports? Look at the Olympic record for any race, any single race. You will see the drop off and you will see the difference. And it's no slight to women. Look at the people that's, hey, I'm 450th in the world in swimming, but I'm transgender, and then go across and compete in women's sports because they're transgender. Like, it's crazy.
This comment, guards don't have a chance at all. Okay, the reason, look, if you're just talking like Anisko and Steph were shooting threes, that's cool. They can do a skills competition with the men. They cannot play a game with the men because
speak on it, Mill.
She's not going to be able to get that shot off against a dude. It's just not going to happen because one, she's what, 5'10"? Like, we consider Steph Curry small. He's 6'4".
He is 6'4".
He's a smaller. He is a smaller guard. He's considered a small guard.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, and when they're used to, getting a little nudge and then doing their step back and pulling up on girls can't jump. So they can get that shot off. These NBA players, one, their wingspans are longer and they got higher verticals. That shot is not getting up.
Like, the step back is going to have to be a really big step back to create that space in order to get that shot off, because it's not going to be a regular step back.
Like, the amount of arc you're going to have to put on that shot to get it over the defender is going to be nuts.
Yeah, and just to give everybody just this little prefaces, right? In middle school, when I was playing middle school basketball, we went undefeated, ended up winning the championship. The girls went undefeated, ended up winning the championship.
Okay, Moo, let me find out you was balling.
Oh, I'm really a hooper, but I just don't like to say it because niggas get jealous. But we always had this scrimmage at the end of the game, right? But the girls wanted to dial it up because they went undefeated, right? So they was feeling a little big shit, right? So they wanted to have a real game, like a real game with crowd and everything, scoreboard, all kind of shit, right? And to speak on the jumping ability of the comparison, rebounds, right? Both offensive, both defensive rebounds, but jump balls, loose balls, just like you heard the girls on the court literally tell us to stop jumping because they can't jump as high. Like, we got guys that are jumping 30, 36, 40, 30, 36, 42 inch verticals, you know what I'm saying? And they're barely getting off the ground. They got Nikola Jokic hops.
Even with this comment, Juju can hang with me on a basketball court. She cannot play with other grown-ass basketball players. And I love Juju. Don't get this twisted. I think Juju's going to be fucking phenomenal in another 2 years. She's going to be a monster.
Crazy.
She cannot play with men. And that's no slight.
And that's the reason what I'm saying, because trust me, like, I have a cousin, she was a WNBA player and she played with men, but even she understood the key differences of their body type. Like, her and my older brother would play all the time. My older brother was significantly smaller than her, right? Like, he's no taller than 5'4". But she knows that he has a low center of gravity and that he is stronger, no matter how tall or even with how built she was, because she was one of a bigger stature woman. She was in the gym. She would lift a lot. She squatted a lot. But even though she would go against a man, i.e. my older brother, she knew that he had a low center of gravity. He was stronger just because his genetics were different. We're not sitting here saying that Juju wouldn't be able to get a shot off. It's just that with the genetic differences, it's going to be harder for her to create that space for her to get her shot off.
Right.
So let's think about this for a second real quick, right? With women's basketball. And this is no disrespect to WNBA, because I actually like and I watch the WNBA. I absolutely do. People that actually like basketball will actually watch the WNBA too. If you don't watch the WNBA and you say you're a basketball fan, you're a liar. Let's just keep it 100. So In the past 20 years, I got just Mel and Moo. Who's the best player in the WNBA? Just off the top of your head, who you think is the best player in the WNBA for the past 20 years? In the past 20 years,
Diana Taurasi.
Maya Moore.
I go Maya Moore. See me, boy. Hey, it's something about these light skins. We agree. So, Maya Moore was my girl. So, to put this into perspective, you could put Maya Moore against any guard in the All. What he's saying is the best player in the past 20 years in the WNBA can go to the NBA and play against, hell, LeBron James, the best player in the past 20 years in the NBA. Are you serious? There's no way she's winning that game. Absolutely not.
This is okay. It's just who's gonna set the screen to get her open. That means you gotta set the screen on a man. Like you have to set the screen on a man.
And that's the ultimate difference. It's like it's team when it comes to team basketball. And honestly, when it comes to team basketball and even average NBA players, that one-on-one, right? Most people are talking about a one-on-one aspect. When we're talking about a team aspect, when even just average guys, their body.
I could put the fucking rookie sophomore team out there. They gonna beat the dog shit out there.
The hell with that. I'm putting the white mamba out there from the Boston Celtics. I'm putting the white mamba out there, and he's smoking damn near 98% of the WNBA.
You can take the WNBA players against the big three all-stars. They're going to lose.
Joe Johnson is on that team.
They're not going to be competitive, but
Steven Jackson is on that team. Boy,
they're going to lose.
Put like this. They're probably gonna...
What did what's that girl? Sha'Carri Richardson ran what? A 10.42?
There we go. Yup.
I ran that in high school in 9th grade.
Thank you. I just said that not too long ago.
Like in 9th grade as a 15-year-old freshman.
Tyrone knows. I ran that in high school as well.
All I'm saying, bro, biology tells you men are stronger, faster. And I'm not saying women can't win a race against guys that aren't in shape. They absolutely can.
See, competing means that they're on the court. That's not good enough to just say, oh, well, we can put these girls on the court with these guys and they can compete. If you're on the court, you're competing. If you lost by 50, you competed.
And this is the ultimate difference, right? When you're talking about a co-ed, something that's co-ed, obviously everybody's going to have roles. They're not going to put a 6'9" freaking women's player against a 7-footer, right? Like they're not going to put somebody who's 5'11", who's 6'1", something like that, against a 7-footer or somebody who's 6'4". Like she's probably going to have her role with them, where she's going to come around screens, right? Come around with the stop and pop. She's going to come around the give and goes, right? She's going to be the shooter, right? Which that's a lot of roles that a lot of people have. A lot of people in the fucking NBA do that shit. They come off screen, they're not.
I got you, Moo.
The stop and pop. They're the 3-and-D guy, but they don't play in the D. They're just the 3 guy. Like,
Moo, I got you. Let me ask y'all a question real quick. Oh, go ahead, Mel.
Yeah, go ahead, Mel. I coach women's tackle football. I do this. Even when we play flag, we have a co-ed football team. They only let the girls guard the girls.
For a reason.
Because if I got a girl playing receiver or another team has a girl playing wide receiver, guess who I'm jamming them up? Guess who I'm sending over to jam up? I'm not sending the girl over there. But the rule states, if the girls play against the girls, the guys play against the guys. Because physically, it's a mismatch. If I'm playing corner and there's a girl playing wide receiver, guess who's not getting off the line of scrimmage?
Now there are anomalies. We're not sitting here saying that the shit just won't happen where a guy is playing defense and he don't get dropped off because he's lazy.
Oh, yeah. You're gonna catch they're gonna catch it
dropped off.
Sitting here saying that a guy won't get caught by a Caitlyn Clark, by a Sabrina. We're not saying that because we know that these women are skilled. Trust me, I've seen it. I played on a high school football team where, like my boy Mel said, my boy Moises was a corner. Then Folsom High School had this long hair, tall ass fucking girl, and she beat that man. I'm talking about up top, Dick Boston Jr. for a tug type shit.
That bitch was gonna die.
Hey, look, he never look. I was begging to play corner all season. After that game, I got my corner spot. Let's just say that because bro never touched it.
But look, even the girls, look, shout out to August Martin High School in New York. If you know about August Martin High School, you know about our girls basketball team until our football team started cooking. That was when I got there. But before that, we was known for our girls basketball team. In 20 years, they won 13 state championships.
Oh shit!
And they used to beat the life out of our boys team. Beat the life out of it. Like they would play for the gym. Like we had two gyms. We had Gym A and Gym B. Gym A was the big gym. And if they wanted to play in the big gym and the boys was in there, they'd walk in there like, yo, we're going to play for the gym.
Yeah, ball up for the gym.
And they beat them. And the boys have to go to beat Gym B.
I'm baffled by
that. Go ahead.
Look, if you I don't want to sound disrespectful, but I'm gonna take it there. Okay. Caitlyn Clark is what, 6 foot? 6 foot, 6'1"?
6 feet.
6 feet. All right. Let's just say the person that's intended to be the best WNBA player in the next 2 to 3 years plays against Lou Williams in a one-on-one game or Jamal Crawford in a one-on-one game. Who is giving Caitlyn a chance of winning this game?
Nobody.
She gonna score a lot.
More importantly, I'm gonna break it down like
she gonna score. Jamal probably let her shoot. Like,
I don't think she'll let
Jamal and Lou Will, they gonna be nice and just let her shoot. Like, yeah, go ahead. Because as soon as they
we're not talking about them letting them shoot. It's like, hey, we going at it. So let's be more specific about this.
They don't got to.
Mel brought up a good point.
I know how petty Lou Will is.
Mel brought up a good point of his high school. I'm gonna bring up even better point of my high school. My senior year of high school in water polo, our girls went undefeated, 40-0, and won the state championship. Our guys went 39-1, won the state championship. Now, for senior day, the girls and the boys went at it in water polo.
I was gonna say you went to a bougie ass school if y'all had a water polo team.
I mean,
well, we were the only school. All of Baytown played for one team in water polo because it was like, all right, everybody plays for Sterling. All the other school, which was Lee, didn't have a water polo team. They were, regardless. Both of our star players went to USC. Both of them played in the Olympics. I know them both. Really cool people. The men were the team that lost. They played on senior day. At halftime of water polo, the score was 22-1. Mind you, this is the same girls team and the same guys team that both won championships. Speaking of, we had the girls and boys 4x1 team.
Water polo team too. It's just they practiced that.
Both 4x1 teams went to the state tournament.
There was no water polo.
Well, niggas don't swim.
I don't think y'all got.
Niggas
I don't think you niggas in New York swim like that, bro.
Y'all niggas do not swim.
Nah.
Y'all best beach is Coney Island. Stop playing with me.
Jones Beach, nigga. Jones Beach.
Regardless,
I've never seen a New York nigga get in a pool. That's the one thing I never seen y'all do ever in my life.
But regardless, the 4x1 team men's raced against the 4x1 team girls, and I don't think y'all want to know the outcome of that. I'm talking about 2-second difference, and they both went to the same round of state finals. They both went to the same round of state finals, and the men blew them out by 2 seconds because the girls are like, we could do this and we can do that.
And there's no disrespect to the women. Like, I'm 46 years old. When I line my girls, when I go play receiver, and I have them try to cover me, they be like, "Coach, you too fast. I can't." And I'm not even in shape. Like, this is not even college Melvin. This is not semi-pro Melvin. This ain't practice squad Baltimore Raven Melvin. This is dad Melvin with dad bod. And they can't stay in front of me.
I think
volleyball is a perfect example.
This is different though, Tyrone, because because in a co-ed matchup, right, is different, right? Because now you can do matchups, you can do mismatches and stuff like that. Like you can put somebody who's smaller on somebody bigger, and because they're faster, because they're quicker, they can get back doors, they can get, cuts and stuff like that, right? So I think a mixture would go over better than just a straight on 5-on-5 men's versus women's basketball team, because we're gonna start to see the physical dominance of the men without having to see much skill going on. Like if you have a team that has like you're saying, Breonna Stewart, and that has a LeBron James, that has a AD, that has a Caitlyn Clark, like a lot of these pieces, right? You got your point guard, you got your shooting guard, you got LeBron, you got AD and defender, you probably had another big man. Like now you can do mismatches. You can have Caitlyn flowing, and we know she can pass. Well, she just had 40 fucking points and 15 assists, so we know she can pass, right? You can have fucking Breonna Stewart, who we know has a bag, who we know is gonna get to her spot and get her shots off. Like that's how that's gonna work, right? When you have co-ed teams to where they can mix and mesh, and now that energy, and now they're in sync. But when you have just a straight on 5-on-5, or just even a one-on-one, a pure one-on-one with a man and a woman, it just kind of bowls over different, because at some point in time you're gonna start to see the physical dominance come about more than the quickness and athletic ability and the skill. It's just nature.
Like Brittany Griner goofy ass saying she could beat.
Oh my God, DeMarcus Cousins would go crazy.
And that's not me saying that there isn't women out here that can't beat some of these men one-on-one, because that would just be accurate to say.
But you ain't beat no NBA player though.
Yeah, no. Like if I went out and tried to play against Chelsea Gray or one of them, they gonna cook me.
Exactly.
I'm lunch meat out there. But who she not beating? Anybody with a WNBA patch on their jersey. With an NBA jersey.
Like and some of like I said, there are some anomalies where you'll find one of these worst guys, these G League guys who don't care about the game and just walking out there. They know they're gonna sit on the bench, and like they might get dropped off. Okay, that's fine, but they're not going up there taking on even mid-tier talent of the NBA.
Like that meme that they got that said that Caitlyn Clark and Bronny should play, and the loser has to go to the WNBA.
I ain't gonna lie, Bronny might not have a good chance.
Bronny's going to win, and Caitlyn Clark is going to the WNBA.
I don't think so. I think Bronny loses.
I think Bronny wins. I do. I think Bronny wins.
I don't know.
I think Bronny wins. I'm riding with Bronny on that. I think Bronny wins.
Shoot that boy out the gym.
Bronny might not be. Hey, Bronny might not be the best shooter, but here's what I will tell you: when that man go to the rack, she can't do nothing. She's not gonna be able to do nothing with him.
He gonna miss that motherfucker.
Nah, he ain't gonna miss. Not against Caitlyn. Nah.
Motherfucker, how you shoot 38% in college basketball?
Oh shoot, I'm crying, because that's the one thing that a lot of these women will have to bank on, right? These guys that are just gonna be too overzealous. And
I gotta get my LeBron my LeBron.
Well, here's what I will say. You talked about athleticism. Bronny will jump over Caitlyn Clark easily.
I don't know. Bronny got to make the shot.
Oh no.
He don't got to make a shot unless we playing king in the court and you only got 3 dribbles. If we
some of these women is crafty out here, man. I don't know.
I don't get how you would say Juju would spank him, but Caitlyn would lose. That makes no sense.
None at all.
Caitlyn is a better offensive player than Juju right now.
No disrespect to Juju, but Caitlyn is better.
She's a better offensive player. It's just a lot of people will take Juju because she's a better all-around player. She plays defense. She's going to get rebounds. She's going to get in there and get dirty and, put her body on the line. Caitlyn is going to...
And Bronny will jump over Juju just like she would Caitlyn Clark.
Oh, no, that's a stick to the vert. That's the case. That nigga needs to be in the league now.
I'm just saying. Hey, Juju ain't jumping high enough to dunk the ball.
Oh,
Caitlyn
hell
Clark
no.
ain't high enough to dunk the ball, bro. That's my point.
Nah, they just gonna mid range that motherfucker to death.
I think Bronny is a decent defender. I think he's a decent defender. The matchup, the mismatch problem comes in
See,
when
I get
Bronny
I
drives to
don't
the
know
basket.
if you watch
Hey,
too
no,
much
but they
basketball, because Caitlyn don't got to shoot from 30 to get her buckets, bro.
I didn't say she had to shoot from 30.
No,
I
she's
am
talking about Tyrone.
saying
No,
I am
not you.
saying
I'm talking to Rome.
oh my bad.
Because he's like, nah, Caitlyn get the buckets
No.
everywhere.
She do.
She get them buckets everywhere. She just lethal from out there. Like,
You know what? Caitlyn literally is told all she can do is shoot, but she's a lot like Steph in that she can finish at the basket when she gets there
with both hands.
with both hands.
Her float
She's
game
very
is
good at
crazy.
finishing.
Her mid-range jump shot is dope. Like, she's, as an offensive player, she is polished. And there aren't too many female basketball players offensive game better than hers. Like, if there is anybody. Because she sees the entire court. That's why she can drop 40 with 15 assists.
Ridiculous.
I'm going to ask you guys one more question before we get out of here and get these final thoughts. What do you guys think carried women's basketball in college this year?
As an individual?
Who do you guys think carried women's basketball as a college women's?
It's been on Caitlyn's back for 3 years.
I think it started with Paige, and then Caitlyn took over once Paige got hurt.
I think Caitlyn, since her sophomore year, she had that.
See,
that's when Paige got hurt, her sophomore year.
I'm going opposite, and maybe this is the first one we're going to disagree on, Mel, but I'm okay with that. Who do I think carried women's basketball as pertaining to on the court or just overall?
So overall, and on the court, that definitely matters.
Well, the court, Angel Reese. And the reason why I'm going to say Angel Reese is because even when she wasn't on the court, the story was always about Angel Reese and with LSU, because at the time they didn't think Angel Reese was going to finish the season. But all the eyes are on her. Even though Caitlyn Clark was breaking records and going crazy on the court, Caitlyn Clark carried them. But the off-court stuff plus the on-court stuff, Angel Reese made all the headlines.
But Caitlyn Clark got the thing. See, that's where I look at the numbers. Caitlyn Clark's games when she played, the numbers were out the roof. Not just the games where she played, top ranked teams. But just regular fucking games. We're drawing 10 and 11 million views for a women's college basketball game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's nuts. But this, that fucking T-Mobile had to add 10,000 more seats for the first game against Indiana because Caitlyn Clark is coming.
Yeah.
Say,
I mess with that.
They specifically changed the venue for that.
But the amount of people alone that was waiting for Angel Reese to fail time and time again, it's just kind of like, hey, bro. It's kind of like how Mayweather was when he was. People didn't like a lot of them. They don't like Mayweather, but they're watching to make sure this guy fails, and they're paying money to make sure and watch when he fails. And they did a lot of that to Angel Reese.
But LSU's games weren't that big. Only games that were like nationally drawn big games was the game that she played against Iowa.
So okay, so here's what exactly are we talking about here? Are we talking about ratings? Or are we talking about
who
the
carried the sport?
Right. So are we talking about ratings or are we talking about storylines? Because both of those can carry the game. If we're talking about ratings, I will go Caitlyn Clark. If we're talking about storylines, Angel Reese had another freaking storyline every single week. They were just waiting for this girl to fail.
And so did Caitlyn. Caitlyn was breaking the record every other week.
I'm still this. You know what? This is the first one we disagreed on all night. I'm saying Angel Reese storylines way more than Kate.
What storyline?
When she got suspended.
Okay.
When she got suspended. When they were waiting for her to lose
in the NCAA
tournament.
How is that carrying the sport?
That's why I asked, how are we doing this? Are we doing it based off on the court, or are we doing it based?
It don't
off
matter. I'm asking you, how did that?
But it's a culture. It's a whole culture. Off the court, Angel Reese made all the headlines and was having basketball really relevant off the court. On the court, Caitlyn Clark was balling out.
How?
What you mean how? Of course, Caitlyn Clark. What you mean how? Caitlyn Clark was balling out.
What did Angel off the court? How was
they were more invested in seeing Angel Reese fail than they were seeing Caitlyn Clark win. That's a fact.
That the numbers don't show that, because there was more people watching. There was more people watching Caitlyn's game.
The amount of articles show that. The amount of
articles and eyes are not the same. You can write a bunch. If people aren't watching it, then it don't matter.
People watch LSU. Don't do that.
No. What I'm saying is, Iowa was drawing more eyes on a consistent basis than LSU.
Yeah, they might have been, but there were more stories being written about Angel Reese being out of basketball at a certain time because she was suspended for an extended amount of time. When she wasn't passing the classes, they're like, "Well, what is Angel Reese going through? What are they doing this?
So how
What's
is that
going on?
How was
that
carrying?
But that's still making women's college basketball relevant, because people are more worried about what is going on.
Somebody not playing is making it relevant.
The fact that they're worried about her not playing is making it relevant. Yes, it is, because everybody's like, "Why the hell is she not playing?"
She was the talk of the. She was the talk
She
of
was
the
talk of the town. Yes,
talk of the town, because
she carried. But that's the point. She carried the media side.
No, Caitlyn did.
Yes, she did.
It was so bad. It was so bad. Even during the game, they had 3 UConn girls doing the broadcast, talking shit about Caitlyn while the game was being played.
Oh yeah, no, we're gonna get to that in just a second. So
Of course.
hold that thought. We can get to that in just a second.
And you had women rejoicing that Angel Reese was failing and not being able to play on the court. So
but everybody is clapping like seals that Caitlyn Clark lost in the national championship.
Those same women.
Everybody was clapping the LSU loss because they hated Angel Reese that much.
Right.
When she won last year.
But who was hated more? Caitlyn Clark or Angel Reese?
Angel Reese was hated more by maybe in women college basketball with them playing among the players. Caitlyn Clark is hated more. But in the public, they hated Angel Reese. It was like, why was she talking? And she was pointing to her ring. And this Angel Reese started a whole conversation about whether or not women can be passionate about sports or not. Fact.
They fucking
fact.
No, they did not.
Yes, they did.
Did you watch all these black women that literally jumped on her back? Women in general.
I watched all the black women. Yes,
they did not.
But how many of the others didn't ride with Angel Reese? There's more of the others than there are of the black that didn't ride with Angel Reese.
Yeah, but they're not. But they're not in media though.
This is social media era. Everybody's in media.
Right.
What?
And the second everybody is talking crazy about Caitlyn, everybody wanted her to fail. Everybody. White, black, it didn't matter.
Everybody didn't want Caitlyn to fail. Everybody wanted Angel Reese to fail. Besides black people.
Cheryl Swoops went on the daggone on Gil's shit, talking shit about her. You got.
I'm sorry. Is Cheryl Swoops black?
Yes.
I literally just prefaced that. I literally just said.
I literally
prefaced that.
I'm getting there. I'm gonna get to all other ones too. I'm gonna get to all other ones too. Every media outlet was going after Caitlyn Clark, saying how she isn't. Breonna Stewart, Tarazi.
That narrative just started after she lost in the NCAA finals. That was not a narrative before.
They was doing it last year.
When she lost, it was a narrative.
Well,
when she lost last year was a narrative.
Let's go ahead and pivot real quick now that we're talking about that because I wanted to get into this, right? Let's go ahead and talk about that, right?
I hate you, Moo. I hate you, Moo. You
No,
found one topic.
do you
You
think
found
that
one.
there's some salt amongst the older generation of women NBA basketball players compared to the new ones? Because, like Mel said, there has been a lot of shade thrown towards the Caitlyn Clarks, the Angel Reeses of the world, the Alyssa Peeleys of the world, the Cameron Brinks of the world, saying that when they come to the WNBA, life ain't gonna be as sweet. We've heard Cheryl Swoop say that Caitlyn Clark and Angel Reese ain't gonna have the same game. We've heard Sue Bird and Diana Taurasi
She said
that, hey, no, Sue Bird, Diana Taurasi is on video saying goodbye to your career because when you get to the NBA, it's up. And she said the same thing for Caitlyn Clark as well.
Oh no, I said Cheryl Swoop. Cheryl Swoop, she was talking strictly on Caitlyn Clark.
Oh no, she went in on Angel Reese as well too. I watched the whole show. She went in on Angel Reese as well, saying that Angel's not going to be able to do the things that she does in WNBA because it's not going to be that easy.
She's not a good basketball player, so that's no.
So with that being said,
she's not.
Do you guys think that these young WNBA players, these young WNBA prospects, are going to come in and are going to show these older OG ladies up, or do you think that these OGs are gonna rightfully put them in their place? DJ, I'll start with you.
Man, the younger players gonna show these niggas up. What are we talking about here? I'm sorry. If you weren't drafted after maybe if you weren't drafted after maybe 2010, 2011, it's just like Mel might appreciate this. Maybe he won't. It's like literally saying the 60s were the beginning of basketball, but people in the 80s and 90s can't beat the people from the 60s.
This is true.
Literally. Like, and I'm not saying people from the 60s couldn't hold their own at a certain point, but the game has evolved. That's you heard me say in Monday Move. The game has evolved so much. If you're not born past 1990, you're going to have a problem literally playing against any WNBA player right now. The game has evolved so much. It has.
Mm-hmm.
And anybody born after 2000, they're part of the game. The game has grown so much from the time Candace Parker got in the league to now. Because when Candace Parker first got in the league, we was like, yo, this might be the first WNBA player that can actually play against the men in the NBA. That was the talk. That was not my talk, but that was the talk. Because Candace Parker she was dunking in college. Rim grazing. But it's still a dunk, Mel. Come on, man. You gotta at least give it to Candace.
Rim grazers count.
Rim grazers count, especially in the WNBA and especially
got a name.
Just because I dunk at Chuck E. Cheese don't mean I can run around telling people where I
don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Why not? Did you not dunk?
That's not a goal at Chuck. That's not a 10-foot goal at Chuck E. Cheese. Don't do that.
But did you?
That's not a 10-foot goal that the women playing on.
No, the women goal is 10 feet, just like the men.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
Did you or did you not dunk?
This ain't volleyball. Yes, it is.
I keep in my mind. I keep telling them to lower that motherfucker to 8.5.
I say lower that motherfucker too. But regardless, I think the girls now are so much more advanced compared to the original WNBA opening. That the people that played in the first 6 or 7 years of the WNBA, they're going to sound like the 80s and 90s player when the players now say, hey, we're so much better than y'all, this and that. The 80s players always say it about the 2020 players now. I say it to the 90s and the 2000 players because they know the 90s and 2000 players can actually whoop their ass or hang with them. Now we are so far removed from the initial WNBA. I have always said, especially when Maya Moore got in the WNBA, Maya Moore was so advanced in basketball compared to what we've seen before the cycle is going to wash out a lot of the players that played in the early 2000s now. And the players are going to be so much more better right now. Overall, skill-wise as a league. Will they understand X's and O's better? Maybe not, because we all know Cheryl Miller scored over 100 points in a professional game. We know the story. But are they so much more better skilled? Yes. And it's so much more skilled to the point where it's like comparing 90s players to 60s players. That's how I feel about it, because WNBA started in the 90s, 2000s, 2010s, and now we're in the 2020s. That's damn near close to 40 years. About the same amount of time between the 60s and 50s and the 90s, where Oscar Robertson played, where Michael Jordan played. We're at that gap now with the WNBA. The players now are just simply better. And a lot of these older people are going to get phased out the game.
I'm going to say they're better. I think the top players from the WNBA are as good. The Cheryl Swoops, the Cheryl Millers, the Tina Thompsons, the Rebecca Lobos, the Lisa Leslies. They're still good. They could still rock.
Oh yeah, great players are great players in any era. I always say that.
But to say that, that these new girls are going to have a rude awakening when they get to the league, listen here, man. Fucking Cardozo is 6'7", 215 pounds. That's a big bitch. I don't think you got nothing in the league ready to fuck with her right now. Okay?
You don't think Asia Wilson ready for that play? Because
Asia's my girl. Asia too light.
I love Asia.
Asia too light.
Hold on. What you got going on?
And Asia only 6'3".
What? I didn't know that.
Asia's only 6'3".
That's crazy. Bruh, Brittany Griner came in the league as a center and went ballistic.
Right. Because that man is, that girl is 6'6". I said, man, I don't care what nobody said. But Caitlyn Clark is going to be good. Like, there's always going to be a learning curve for everything. So I'm not expecting her to come out the gate averaging 30 and 8 assists and all that. I don't expect that. I expect her to come out and get anywhere from 23 to 25 and anywhere between 8 assists. I expect that. But by year 3, she fucking everybody up.
Everybody.
I think she's going to do against Stewie, though.
Say it again.
So I think she's going to do against Stewie. You think she rocking with Stewie? Because I think Stewie's going to fuck her up. I ain't going to lie to you.
You think so? I don't think so.
I think so. I ain't going to lie to you.
I don't
different.
think so.
I think Stewie going to fuck her up. I ain't even going to cap. And then she still got to see, because then it's the thing, right? Because the Aces, that's the reason why that's my squad over there, because they got some real ballers, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to my Aces girls over there. You know what I'm saying? She gonna have, and I get it, right? Because if she does go to the Fever, right, she's gonna be teaming up with Aaliyah Boston, rookie of the year last year. So that should be nice, little combination, little 1-2 punch for him. But when you go against the 2-time defending champions in the Aces, you're gonna see Asia Wilson, you're gonna see Kelsey Plum, whose record she just beat. So I'm pretty sure Kelsey gonna have something to say about that.
Like I said, look.
Wait a minute, Moo. Let me ask you a question real quick. Camila Cardoso, if I had to put a comparison on her right now, is exactly what Liz Cambage was when she came into WNBA.
Yeah.
And Liz Cambage came into WNBA straight dominating her first year.
She don't got the attitude that Liz had.
Yeah, Liz got a whole.
I'm just listen. She don't have to, but that her attitude not being Liz Cambage might save her for the long run.
Oh no, definitely. But
Cardoso gonna like this shit right here, like what Andrew just said. Yeah, she about to wow out.
She's gonna get her money for sure. But
you can't do nothing with that big motherfucker. Like she big and strong.
When you got these prominent women, man, like there's a lot of women in the league, man, that are gonna be coming for her head, just for the simple fact that She came with all the hype. She draws all the crowd. So they're gonna try to come after her and they're trying to attack her, like especially the ones on the younger side. Like you see a lot of these, right? And I get it. A lot of people want to see her and Diana Taurasi go at it. Diana Taurasi's in her 40s, bro. Like I really don't care about that. Like, I want to see her and Kelsey Plum go at it. Like I want to see her and the Jackie Youngs. I want to see her and the Brittany Griner and the freaking
Speak on it.
The Skylar Diggins go at it. Like I want to see them go at it, bro. Like I don't care about
my baby. Shout out to my baby mother, Skylar Diggins.
Hey, speak on it, Mel. Let them know.
Shout out to Skylar Diggins for everything she's been through and for persevering, and she's still that dog in the league. Like y'all better stop playing with her. Her 2024 season is gonna be crazy. But that is who I want her to go up against. And I think these young girls they're gonna be a force to be reckoned with coming into this league, man. They're like, hey, no, we ain't no young pups around here. We hoop. You feel me? And y'all gonna have to come see us about something.
But this is where we can tie it all up. This is why nobody likes the WNBA. This is why. And I'm gonna draw parallels. You'll tell me if I'm wrong. Look at what they're doing to this. Who can the crop of girls that can take this league to the heights that they needed to go to, so that the revenue can now pay them the money that they need to get paid or want to get paid.
That's the matchup I want to see right there.
Right? These girls coming in can bring the eyes and put the asses in the seats. They doing all of this, and y'all telling them y'all not gonna be shit. Y'all ain't this. You not that good. Da 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 da. All of that. And conversely, there are people saying that Bronny James is an NBA basketball player. This motherfucker averaged 3 points in college.
There are like NBA scouts saying that this is.
But do you see how the NBA is? They're inviting. They're like, nah, come on through, because they know if at worst Bronny James is going to bring eyes because of him and his father.
True.
So he is going to bring revenue to the NBA. So he's an asset to the NBA. Why would you kick Caitlyn Clark and Angel Reese and Cardozo and all of these girls that are going to bring revenue to your league? Why would you kick them down? Shouldn't you embrace them? Shouldn't you wrap your arms around them and be like, no, we want you to come into the WNBA and drop 30 and have 10 assists a game? You know why? Because more people are going to watch the fucking games if you do that.
But isn't them kind of like going at these young ladies? Isn't that kind of their way of drawing more eyes to the game? Right? Like, I'm not, and it's not in Diana's sense, right? But, and I'm not even saying in Breonna Stewart's sense, because she wasn't really saying that. She was more just reacting off the game, and because she's UConn through and through, right? But just seeing how these ladies take competition, right? And that's the one thing that we've always been talking about compared to the NBA is it's lacking competition because everybody wants to be friends and buddy and stuff like that. But just seeing these ladies like that, like, doesn't that kind of excite you in a way? Like, oh, I want to see these matchups because I know that they're going to be box office.
But there's a difference. There's a difference between competition and then what they're doing. It's one thing if Taurasi was just like, you had a great season this year, dope, but make sure you lace them up next year when I see you. That's different than saying you are not going to be good. Like, you're going to be, like, that's
true. That's true.
Like, I'm here for competition. I'm all here for the comp. But the women's game, you need these girls to be at their best. Because what if Caitlyn Clark hears all of this stuff that they're saying and says, you know what? Fuck the WNBA. I'm gonna take Ice Cube's contract. I'm gonna go to the big three. How does that help the WNBA now? Then let's just shits and giggles. Let's say Cardozo and a couple other girls see Caitlyn do that and be like, well, fuck it, we'll go over there too.
Mm-hmm. Especially if they see her making money over there.
Mm-hmm. Then what? How does that? You're not helping. You're supposed to be the ambassadors of the WNBA. You're supposed to help usher in the new age and the new era. You're supposed to do that. Now, you can go out and have competition and ball out against these girls when they get there, but you're not supposed to shit on them before they get there.
I think they should. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I'm not saying shit on them, right? But I think that healthy, competitive, shit talk, I think that shit is I think that shit is dope for the game, right? But for me personally, right, like I said, I just want to see them. Like, it's easy for the people whose career is established to talk as loud, right? You got the Diana Taurasi's, the Sue Birds, right? The even Breonna Stewart to an extent, to where they've won championships, they've won MVPs, they've won scoring titles to the point where their career is solidified, right? So it's easy to talk about somebody who's not in your position, to talk down on them because of everything you've accomplished. But like, as far as
name the NBA players that did that to the incoming group of draftees.
You know what's crazy? I just said a couple of weeks ago, part of the problem with the WNBA is I don't think they have the best basketball talent in the world in their sport. Because I think a lot of the people coming out of NCAA is going to be way better. Not only that, all the people you just named, I don't think none of them are better than Maya Moore. And Maya Moore came in the WNBA how long ago now? Skill wise and playing wise one-on-one, I don't think not a single one of them you name will beat Maya Moore one-on-one. And a couple of these girls might be better than what Maya Moore was. And this might be the best draft class we have seen in the WNBA.
But that's why I said the next several years of drafts for the WNBA is going to be nuts. It's going to be crazy.
When those girls from the early 2000s start to phase out, and the girls from the later 2000s that was trend setting, because Maya Moore came in and won two WNBA MVPs easily, and it wasn't even close. Here we go. Maya Moore is already retired; she's not coming back. But when people at Maya Moore's skill level starts to phase out now, and these players come in, it's going to be easy to see. Diana Taurasi could be in her feelings. Sue Bird could be in her feelings. But the fact of the matter is, you in your prime wouldn't beat none of these girls one-on-one. A good bit of them. The top players coming out, you probably wouldn't beat one-on-one.
No.
The game will evolve too far. That's what I'm saying. Like, not to say you don't matter in WNBA history. Obviously, y'all do. But let's sit here and be serious. Oscar Robertson ain't beating Russell Westbrook one-on-one.
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely.
Like, and that was the original triple-double and the modern-day Mr. Triple-Double. Oscar Robertson ain't beating Russell Westbrook one-on-one. And that's what it is. They're to the point now where former WNBA players, they're not talking about how great you are. They're talking about how better I am than you, and you're not better than them.
And that's what, and I think, like I said, to me, that's the problem with the WNBA, is that your league needs to evolve. This is what everybody's been saying, is like the league itself needs to evolve. These girls that are coming are the evolution. So you should wrap your arms around them and be like, yo, all that shit that y'all doing in college, bring that shit to the WNBA. All of that.
Be ambassadors.
Like Caitlyn Clark and y'all and Angel Reese's rivalry. I need that. Cardozo, your attitude, all the shit I need that. Cameron Brink, your skill level as a big. I need that. Like, all of this stuff is what if you want to get paid the way that y'all want to get paid, these are the girls that's going to start the transition into that.
This is true. This is a good point. Last question before we get our final thoughts. Who's the best women's college basketball player of all time?
Wow. The greatest of all time.
We're not talking about the best. We're just talking about the greatest.
The greatest.
That's a two-woman fight.
Who you got?
Okay. Damn it. It's a two-woman fight. And that is between Lisa Leslie and Breanna Stewart.
Ooh.
Interesting. The reason why I asked this question, by the way.
I'm very hard to convince otherwise, bro. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Um, I don't think you know what? I don't think I can disagree. Absolutely, because Brianna Stewart was breaking records left and right. She was going crazy. Lisa Leslie, she she was one of the first 7-foot women to play in the NCAA women's. Like she was, oh my god, and the first woman to dunk in a WNBA game. I mean, just, ooh,
Yeah, I mean, because
I,
I think
I
Stewie, I think she
oh
lost
man,
what, 2 games in college,
Yeah,
you know what?
4 national
I
championships.
four
I,
national
I
championships.
have I
10%
have
was
no
crazy.
problem with Mel. I have no problem with Mel saying Brianna Stewart, but I'm going with Maya Moore and Lisa Leslie.
I'm not mad at Maya Moore. I just, you know me, I'm a championship guy. So,
Yeah, I know, I
and
know.
if you put,
Maya Moore got 2 of them. She did get 2 of them in college, I think.
if you
So
got championships and the stats to go with it, the way Stewie got,
Stewie's crazy, bro. She's crazy. Stewie got credentials, so I'm definitely not mad you picked Stewie.
I
So
asked that question to say, well, of course, we went over top 5 a few weeks ago, but I asked that question to say this because a lot of people regard Caitlyn Clark as the GOAT of women's college basketball, just because she, elapsed and beat a lot of records. But there are a lot of people that share the same sentiment that we do, that championships matter, and you have to have a championship leaving your college career in order to be considered one of the
she's
greats.
the greatest offensive women's basketball player.
um
Period. Not even close.
I'm tired of telling people there's a difference between greatest and best. Caitlin Clark might be the best women's college basketball player ever, but she's not the greatest.
Right.
It's 2 different things. It is.
And
So
a part of it, and I do understand she played at Iowa and she was doing a lot of this solo mission, and she didn't go to a blue blood like a Tennessee or a UConn or a Stanford or a USC. And I get all of that. And that's why, and this, look, for anybody to lead the nation in scoring and assists 3 years in a row is nuts.
It's absolutely astounding. That's crazy.
that's why she's the best.
Like, that's nuts.
But even though, right, like a lot of people, and this is the reason why I brought that up, and I was explaining that a lot throughout the week, is that the reason why a lot of people don't consider Kelsey Plum one of the greatest college women's basketball players ever, even though before Caitlyn beat her record, Kelsey Plum was the leading scorer in college women's basketball. She's having a jury.
You gotta have jury, man.
She went to the Final Four once, right? But after that was the highlight of her career. Other than leading the NCAA in scoring, no jury. Like,
If Caitlin Clark would have won the NCAA championship this year, she had a case to be the GOAT.
If she would have beat, and it's crazy because if she would have won last year, she still wouldn't. I wouldn't have put her in there. But beating this South Carolina team, I would have had her in the conversation.
And beating LSU back-to-back games would have been crazy.
Yeah, that would have been huge. Just for the record, 2 greatest college women's basketball players that I got right now. As of right now, my birthday twin Candace Parker and Brianna Stewart. But can't go wrong with either one of my fellas options as well. Before we get out of here, we're gonna go ahead and get to these final thoughts. Starting with Mel, go ahead.
Once again, it's always dope coming through, like sitting with my brothers and talking sports. I love doing this. So this is great. Always love the conversation. Tomorrow, it's a football Friday. We're gonna get it cracking tomorrow. So tune in to Inside the Huddle. We're gonna get it, turned up over there. Me and that guy in the middle, we got some shit. I think we're gonna do our first episode this Saturday. Yeah, so Melon Moo Unplugged is coming. It's gonna be nuts. We're gonna all of the stuff that we don't get to say because we're trying to be professional and and astute and very analytic when we talk our sports on basket to basket, and we buttoned up on gentlemen's talk and player versus team and Inside the Huddle. The fuckery is coming out on Saturday nights, so tune in for that.
DJ?
Well, let's start from the top. Astute. That's a big word for you, Mel. I'm
I
proud
know.
of you.
It's a big word.
Nah, that's my boy though, man. Hey, y'all know what it is, man. Make sure you tune in to Inside the Huddle tomorrow. Best damn football show on the internet, period. Moo, Mel, co-host. They're gonna bring it to you. They're gonna explain the X's and O's. They're gonna do all that. What y'all got coming on the NFL draft? I know y'all got some good shit coming on.
Yeah,
So.
we got our mock
Thanks,
draft.
man.
Yeah, our mock draft going out tomorrow from the sideline mock draft. We're gonna talk, we're gonna talk OJ. A couple things in the news with some of the players
Yep.
and stuff like that. So we're gonna tap it up. We're gonna
Make
chop it up.
sure y'all tune in, man.
And if y'all know me, I'll be in the comments if I get off of work on time. I hope I do. I really hope I do. I miss talking shit in the comments to Mel because I really be going at Mel head.
That's why I
Of
was in the
course.
comments last night. I was going.
Of course, on Monday, y'all catch me and Moo right there on Basket with Troy and Boo Wop. Y'all already know what it is. And of course, Wednesday we conclude our round of 32 with villains. And
Dr.
y'all know
Doom got hosed last night. That's so. Go watch Gentleman's Talk and watch the debauchery that happened with Dr. Doom and that bullshit ass. It's fucked up, man. Dr. Doom should have won that.
No, he shouldn't have. Only to an old school person like you, man. But y'all know what it is, man. Mel, you probably don't have a drink, but it's all good. Just raise your finger one time. This is Gentleman's Talk anniversary week, so I've been on 3 shows. Hopefully, I get to pop on y'all shows tomorrow, man. And make all 4 of them.
Yes, sir.
So, and
Well, if
then
I
in
would
2
have known
weeks,
it was Gentleman's, if I'd have known that, I would have jumped in there last night.
oh, it's all good. It's all good. And then, of course, in 2 weeks, we have our official From the Sideline anniversary Gentleman's Talk. So that's the one I want you to jump in for shit sure.
Yeah, we gotta find out when the Inside the Huddle one is.
Yeah, y'all need to.
Definitely.
But yeah, I'm out,
It should be
man.
coming up.
Appreciate the love, appreciate the likes, follow, subscribes. Y'all keep sharing it for us, man. We appreciate each and every one of y'all for the love.
Absolutely, absolutely. Before we get up out of here, thanks to everybody that was in the comments. Ron Hendricks, the Monster Mad, New Yorker. We appreciate you guys for sliding through. Make sure you guys do, like my boy said, catch all the shows throughout the rest of the week. We got the audio that'll be uploaded real soon after the show concludes. So make sure you guys check out that. Tell your friends, tell your friend, like, comment, subscribe, share, do all of that. And we're gonna see you next time. Peace.
Later.